one of the things you always talk about every year when it comes to the NFL is the head coaching carousel, GM openings. It's a reality of the business. You get hired into those positions to someday get fired from them. And, depending upon the year, you see a more or less active cycle. As I look ahead to 2024, I think it's going to be a very active one. Very active one. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's anywhere between 8 to 11 or even 12 head coaching openings in the NFL. That's a lot out of 32 teams, right? You're talking about 25% to damn near 40% of the jobs in the league will be open. And I think general managers, it could certainly be counted with all the fingers on one hand. Could be 5 openings, could be 1 or 2 more. So what I wanted to do is take a little bit of time and talk through some of these possibilities and see what teams could be looking for new general managers and head coaches, one or the other. Yeah, let's dive in. First up, got to get it out there. We got to talk about Bears football. And God only knows the Chicago Bears need to be looking for a new head coach and general manager after this season. As it stands right now, time of recording here, the Chicago Bears are 6-22 under the Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus regime. 6-22. Rebuild my ass. You could say, well, he's playing a long-term rebuild because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing when it comes to Ryan Poles. Like, he's dumb. He waited too long to trade away Roquan Smith. Got a return on an all-pro level talent, then decides that he wants to go spend big in free agency at the linebacker position when other championship teams just don't. Like, I could go on and on. The point I'm getting at here is any type of long-term rebuild in the NFL is a failed rebuild, similar to the stock market and talking about long-term investing, my ass. Long-term investment is a failed investment. Furthermore, when you look at the Bears and their situation, new team president Kevin Warren wasn't involved in either hiring because, after all, Bears football, why would you want to have straight line vertical accountability in your fucking organization? We'll see what happens. It's hard to know with the Bears. It really is. But 6-22 at this point, come on. They need to get everybody on the same schedule. It needs to be Kevin Warren's show. Therefore, Poles, Eberflus, got to be gone. The New England Patriots, good or bad, depending upon how you look at it, the head coach and general manager are one and the same, and both have to go. Bill Belichick's recent draft record as general manager is god-awful atrocious. His free agent approach certainly is no better. As a head coach, to that debate for years about whether Brady's just a system quarterback, was it Brady or Belichick that's more responsible for their success? Well, we know now the answer was Tom Brady, because over the past 4 seasons since Tom Brady left, Bill Belichick, the head coach, is only 27-33. And you look at the 2023 season and how that's played out so far, it's been a fucking disaster. They ruined any real shot Mac Jones could have had. Robert Kraft needs to make the right decision here and say, we're not just going to be a place where Bill Belichick can chase Don Shula's record and that's it. You got to have a higher standard. Therefore, you fire Bill Belichick, the general manager, assuming he won't want to just be the head coach. He's going to want that personnel control because he's had it for so goddamn long. Therefore, it's time to move on and separate those roles out, which then might bring in the Chargers situation for a Bill Belichick. When I look at the New York Jets, we talk about the Bears, we'll see, because with the Bears, Patriots, I got to feel pretty confident at this point that Robert Kraft's going to make the hard decision, but the right decision. For the Jets, I don't know what Woody's mindset's going to be here, but it was way back when it was dumb to hire Joe Douglas in June. Don't hire a general manager in the middle of the goddamn summer. That's fucking dumb. So when you look at the past 3+ seasons with Joe Douglas being the primary general manager of the team, they're 17-44. Robert Saleh, 15-30 as a head coach. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they put their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket and that didn't go to plan, so you got to give them another year. No, why the fuck do you? I don't know why. They've bungled the quarterback position, and to go all in on that with Aaron Rodgers, coming off of the 2022 that he had with the Packers, that was in no way great, any shape or form. I think it's a really bad deal. You watch the Jets, you see their quarterback position, you see this team. Why in the hell would you allow a general manager that's 17-44 in 3+ seasons and a head coach that's 15-30 to come back for another one? Now, the Jets very well might, but in my opinion, that's stupid. And if you say, well, Joe Douglas needs to go, but Robert Saleh deserves another year, why would a new general manager want to be stuck with the previous general manager's head coach, especially when the head coach as of right now is 15-30 at the job? Just saying. The Washington Commanders, you've got a new ownership team, or new owner, I should say. Certainly, I imagine, want to put their stamp on the organization. Martin Mayhew in 3 seasons as the general manager is 19-26-1. Riverboat Ron's 26-35-1. Ron Rivera has already fired his defensive coordinator, his DB's coach. You know he's next. Now, whether they would sit there and actually consider promoting Eric Bieniemy, like a lot of it's going to depend on what they think of Sam Howell in the long term and what direction do they go. And maybe they do want to elevate Eric Bieniemy and give him that choice. As far as Martin Mayhew goes, while I think Riverboat Ron's as good as gone, Martin Mayhew might be 50-50 because he's got general manager experience from his time in Detroit. He's been there for a few years. You could sit there and say, he needs to go too, but he could always use that excuse of, well, I didn't exactly hire Riverboat Ron. I deserve a chance to hire my own guy. So I'm 100% that Ron Rivera is going to be a goner. I'm 50-50 on whether Mayhew will be at this point. We already know the Raiders have fired general manager Dave Ziegler and head coach Josh McDaniels a few weeks ago. Champ Kelly's the interim general manager. Antonio Pierce is the interim head coach. We'll see how the Raiders finish out this season. A few years ago, they were in a similar spot in terms of general manager, in terms of head coach. And even though Rich Bisaccia led them to the playoffs, they decided to go in a different direction, which led them down the Josh McDaniels path, which blew up in their fucking faces after the John Gruden shit blew up in their fucking faces. So maybe the Raiders, maybe owner Mark Davis will play it a little lower key, and he'll keep Antonio Pierce and or Champ Kelly in their current positions and remove the interim label. Maybe it'll be a cost-cutting saving measure as much as anything. I don't know, right? But that's certainly going to be a job that people have their eyes on. You know, is that a place that Jim Harbaugh might be able to come in and say, hey, I want head coach and personnel power. You know, and Harbaugh is one of those guys that's going to be a cloud over several of these organizational openings, whereas I can't really see the Bears going after him, even though Kevin Warren might be very interested, because I find it very hard to believe they would want to give Jim Harbaugh the type of personnel power that, frankly, if he comes back to the NFL, he should be commanding. I wouldn't fucking do it, but somebody's going to. When I look at another team that should be replacing both their general manager and their head coach, and certainly their head coach, it's the Atlanta Falcons. Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith are in their 3rd season together, 18-26 during their time in charge. They've invested heavily in the offensive skill talent. First-round picks like Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Pitts was a top 5 pick. Drake London, a top 8 pick. Bijan Robinson, top 8 pick. And their offense still stinks because they fucked up the quarterback position. And you listen to Arthur Smith talk, he's a bumbling fucking idiot. He's got to go. Now, the one potential out, I think, for Terry Fontenot is that he technically didn't hire Arthur Smith. If you remember, Arthur Smith was in place first, and then a few days later, Terry Fontenot, the general manager, was hired. Which, again, is not how this should work. That's really stupid, as you're seeing in Atlanta. I think Arthur Smith's got to be a goner unless they win the division. Even then, I'm like, why the fuck would you keep him? But assuming they don't win the division, he's got to be a goner. I think Fontenot has a potential out, a potential crutch that he could use fairly, somewhat, that he didn't hire Arthur Smith. He should have a chance to hire his own guy. When in doubt as a general manager, hire your own guy. Because if you're going to go down, at least go down doing it your own fucking way. Now, an interesting team here, the Carolina Panthers. Scott Fitterer is in his 3rd season as general manager. Frank Reich's in his 1st year as head coach. Fitterer's 13-31 as general manager. You know, and obviously, as it stands right now, the Panthers are 1-9 in 2023. They made that big move up to number 1 to then take Bryce Young. They took the wrong fucking quarterback, predictably, then put an ass offense around him and expect that to succeed. Now, knowing owner David Tepper, you know, this is not one of these things where you have a network that you've built up for years that can give you all types of insider trading tips and insider stock tips, allegedly. So he's a guy that is prone to being relatively impatient. I could see it. Like, here's a guy that paid Matt Rule a shit ton of money and told him to go away after 2.5 years. Waited a little too long to even do that, but he didn't keep riding with Matt Rule. I could totally see them wanting to clean house again here, although I think that's a bit unfair. I could certainly see it happening. A team that I think could at least be replacing their head coach, and I'd be stunned if they aren't right now, is the Los Angeles Chargers, and they've got another season where they're wasting Justin Herbert. Tom Telesco's been the general manager since 2013. He's got a career losing record as general manager, 83 and 89. I'm sorry, but right now Brandon Staley feels as good as gone. This team is underwhelming, playing below themselves, and the only way that they would be saved is a deep run in the playoffs. And as far as I'm concerned, if Brandon Staley's gone, at some point in time you got to look at Tom Telesco and say, the results just aren't there, brother. You've been here for 10 plus years. You got to go, bro. And that's where, the potential of would they bring in a Bill Belichick. As a coach, it could make a world of sense. As a general manager, good luck with that. The Tennessee Titans, Ran Carthon's in his first year in the job as general manager, which I think means he certainly should feel safe. Mike Vrabel, though, is 51 and 41 as a head coach, but he's only 10 and 17 since the start of 2022. I'd have to think at this point that Ran Carthon's going to want at some point to hire his own head coach. And I know there's been talk of the Titans ownership said that Vrabel's going to be safe for 2024, but that doesn't mean shit right now. Until they actually make that decision hasn't been made. And I'm sorry, but if you're looking at this, especially if you've got the Patriots may come along and say, hey, we want Mike Vrabel to be the head guy in New England, could orchestrate some type of trade. One way or another, I don't necessarily see the logic for bringing Vrabel back in 2024. I know I'll get some that'll disagree with me, but I think Carthon's job will be completely safe as it should be. Mike Vrabel, though, I don't know about all that. It's time for a fresh slate, a clean start in Tennessee. When I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you can make an argument that they should do some type of house cleaning, but I think it's going to mostly stop with Todd Bowles. He's 12 and 15 as coach of the Bucs. And even though Jason Light's the general manager, he's been there since 2014, has a losing record, 70 and 86 overall. He did build a team that won a Super Bowl and went to the playoffs 3 straight years, and that's still pretty fresh in everybody's mind. You could also argue that Todd Bowles was more of a Bruce Arians forced appointment than a Jason Light hire. I think the Bucs could certainly be looking for a new coach, potentially a new general manager, but I would say more on the new head coach kind of side, especially if the Bucs don't win the division, don't make the playoffs this year. And then lastly, I'll come to the Buffalo Bills. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott have both been there since 2017, but if you remember, Brandon Beane technically didn't hire Sean McDermott. He's just worked with him for the past 6+ years. This is an organization that's all in now and looking to win now, and they're 6-5 so far this season. They already fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. If the Bills don't make the playoffs, what's the justification for keeping Sean McDermott? That way he could keep fucking up a team and wasting an elite quarterback like Josh Allen. Like, seriously, what is the logic there? Right? If you're the Bills, if you're Brandon Beane, you could say, I feel like I've put together a roster that's good enough to contend, and the coach is under-delivering here. It's fair. And I didn't even mention other opportunities here, like the Rams, like could Sean McVay be looking at resigning? Seattle with Pete Carroll. He's in his 70s. It feels like it's an inevitability that he'll leave, right? My point being is that there are a lot of potential openings we're going to see. And the smart teams will start doing their work now, getting rid of guys now to get some type of advantage to position themselves better for that next head coach, for that next general manager, and especially when it comes to the general manager market. I'm curious what you guys think. How many of these teams do you feel will be hiring new head coaches, new general managers in the offseason? I feel like right now, barring some unforeseen changes in circumstances in the next few weeks, it's going to be a pretty large number and more than last year, certainly.